AFC Ann Arbor fans, welcome to Concordia University, where the USLW match between your AFC Ann Arbor Mighty Oak women's squad versus the Cleveland Force FC. Tonight's match is presented by Bank of Ann Arbor. Bank of Ann Arbor has been the title sponsor of the club since the first season. It was Bank of Ann Arbor's increased investment that allowed the club to expand with the addition of a women's team in 2019. Thanks to their continued support, both our women's and men's teams receive equitable support across all facets of the organization. Thank you, Bank of Ann Arbor, for all you do for our club and all of Washtenaw County. As the founding club of the Anti-Racist Soccer Club Coalition, AFC Ann Arbor is leading the efforts to combat racism in our sport and community. Visit antiracist.soccerclub.com to read the club's entire 10-point plan and learn more about the coalition, which includes members such as Oakland Roots, Vermont Green FC, and Lansing Commons FC, with initiatives like the CLR Academy, a free youth sports sampling program promoting holistic healthy living run by AFC Ann Arbor players, along with athletes from the University of Michigan and Eastern Michigan University. CLR Academy was created in partnership with Washtenaws My Brother's Keeper to better serve young black and brown children across Washtenaw County. Let's take a look at these two squads as coming up. Ann Arbor is, if I pull up our match schedule, they started off with a game versus Kalamazoo. That was over at Kalamazoo back on the 12th of this month. That was a 1-1 score between the two squads. So Ann Arbor started off with the draw. Then they hosted Kalamazoo FC. That was back on the 19th, 3 p.m. game. That ended about 12 minutes early due to lightning and a big storm that came through. But Ann Arbor was able to secure the 1-0 win. So one win, no losses, and one draw currently for AFC Ann Arbor. Two goal scores. Komori scored in the first goal versus Kalamazoo FC out at Kalamazoo, and Barra scored in the second game, the lone goal in the game last Sunday. Taking a look, Cleveland Force SC has not played a game yet, so this is their opening match of this season. Now, the next upcoming match is going to be tomorrow. That is going to be at Pioneer, so we'll be back at Pioneer at Hallway Field. It is going to be the men's squad, so USL2 matchup between AFC Ann Arbor men's squad and Oakland County FC. Game time is 5 o'clock over at Hallway Field for that matchup, so please come on down. We'd love to see you there. The next 5 matches for the women's squad, they are going to be away on May 29th. That's going to be a Wednesday at Michiana. That's over in Michigan City. That's a 7 p.m. game. On June 2nd, it's going to be 2 games next weekend as well, both Saturday and Sunday. Sunday's game is going to be hosting Midwest United at 3 o'clock for the women's squad. Then they go on the road for a pair of games. June 6th, that's a Thursday, they will be at Midwest United over on the west side of the state. That's a 7 p.m. game. Then that Saturday, 2 days later, they will be over at Detroit City FC. Huge matchup there. That is going to be June 8th at 4 p.m. Then they'll be back at the friendly confines of Hallway Field on June 12th. That will be a 7 p.m. game versus Flint City AFC. So that's the upcoming matchups. Let's take a look at the standings. Not a lot of games as of yet. Again, we said Cleveland Force is the one lone team in the Great Lakes Division that has yet to play a game. Midwest United has played 2 games, won both of them, so they have 6 points. Their points per match is 3. Detroit City has played 2 games and won both of those. Right now, the goal differential is what has Midwest United just above Detroit City. AFC Ann Arbor solidly in 3rd place. They have 1 win and 1 draw. That gives them 4 points. Average points per match is 2. Kalamazoo FC has played 4 matches. They have 1 win, 2 losses, 1 draw. So they have the same number of points as AFC Ann Arbor. That's 4 points, but they have a 1 point per match average. Cleveland Forest hasn't played anything yet. Flint City AFC has played 2 games and lost 2 games, and Michiana has played 2 games and lost 2 games. That's your very early, probably too early Great Lakes standings out there, but that's where we are at. So let us play just a quick bit of music, and then we will be right back here we'll come in and talk about the sponsors. Again, we are at Concordia University for a USLW matchup between your AFC Ann Arbor Mighty Oak and the Cleveland Forest FC. We want to thank the wonderful sponsors of AFC Ann Arbor. That includes Diaza, the team apparel partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Check out the new 2024 jerseys available at the merch booth in youth, men's, and women's sizes. Wear the jerseys the team wears. 3N1 Fitness, the fitness partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Check out 3N1 Fitness on South Industrial next to Revel and Roll. Train where the team trains. Check them out at 3in1fit.com. Bank of Ann Arbor, the title sponsor of AFC Ann Arbor. We want to thank Bank of Ann Arbor for their continued support and all their help for all of Washtenaw County. Wickfield Properties, the housing partner of AFC Ann Arbor. We want to thank Wickfield Properties for 9 years of support housing the visiting players of AFC Ann Arbor. We want to thank the Ann Arbor District Library for their incredible support of the Mighty Oak and for all they do for the Ann Arbor community. Are you moving or do you need to store something? Well, visit the official storage partner of AFC Ann Arbor, Units Moving and Storage. Call Units Moving and Storage for your storage pod and moving needs. That's visit unitsstorage.com. Destination of Ann Arbor and AFC Sports Commission is the official tourism partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Destination Ann Arbor supports our vibrant community by promoting Ann Arbor as a destination of choice for travelers. Check them out at annarbor.org. As you come to the stadium, make sure you visit the merch booth to check out those jerseys. Also, if you buy a Kids Club membership, AFC Ann Arbor will donate $5 for each purchase to the PTO Council. Soccer Shots is the official youth training partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Visit the kids' play area hosted by our friends from Soccer Shot. and Ann Arbor with Kids, your go-to source for an Ann Arbor family fun. Find fun activities, events, deals, and more family fun at AnnArborWithKids.com. Just a reminder for Ann Arbor's bicentennial, every goal by both the women's and men's squads results in 3 trees donated to the Ann Arbor Parks. Goals for trees. The women's squad has already scored 2 goals, so that is 6 trees donated. The men's squad scored 4 in their opener. Then they scored 2 yesterday, so that's 6, so 18 trees out there on the other side. So if we take a look at that, that would be, if I can do some basic math, 24 trees already this season to donate. So every goal AFC and Arbor scores, it's goals for trees. As we're about to get set, 5 minutes out there as crowd arriving. It's a little bit nicer. Still 82 degrees. It was 84 degrees 2 days ago. It feels a little cooler here than it has. It's supposed to be warm this weekend, and then next week it's going to get down to the 70s as a high. Again, most of the crowd is in the shadow of the press box. It is blue skies, but wispy clouds out here, so we're not getting beaten down by the sun. If you have an opportunity, if you're making your way, come on out. The expressways are a little bit better now. As we were heading out, there was a big crash that kind of mucked up 23 and 94, but I think it looks like traffic is moving, and it doesn't look like we're staring at 23. I'm a little surprised, this being a Friday, Memorial Day weekend. Most of the time we would see a big line of cars going north. Is everybody going up north? They just argue where up north begins in Michigan. Depends on where you live. My personal opinion, you gotta get up to Clare, right, for it to be up north, in my personal opinion. But those Yoopers up there think it's at the bridge, and that's fine as well. But yeah, normally a big holiday weekend starting off the summer, we'd see a lot of cars out there backed up. So good to see traffic moving. If you're making your way to the game, we appreciate it. Remember, it's at Concordia today, not Pioneer. Tomorrow we will be right back at Pioneer for the men's contest versus Oakland County, so make sure you check that out. Don't see Nutmeg yet. We had a whole bunch of the young soccer crush kids on the last game. I think we hopefully we'll see a few more kids piling in here, but we do have a good crowd that's coming in here at Concordia. So we're grateful for all of you folk and everything you do. Let's play just one more quick bit of music, and then we'll turn it over to our public address announcer as soon as the squads come out onto the pitch. You're watching AFC Ann Arbor. It's the women's squad versus Cleveland Force, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting. We're about to have the walkout here, as let's turn it over.
Here are tonight's starters for Cleveland Force SC. Number 4, Emmy Gutierrez. Number 9, Tori Linchup. Number 10, Lauren Contini. Number 12, Kellen Fossil. Number 13, Catherine Ramacone. Number 14, Isabella Antonio. Number 17, Megan Heath. Number 20, Mara Jarrett. Number 22, Julia Cure. Number 31, Mackenzie Muir. And in goal, number 1, Madison Ott. Your coaches for Cleveland Force FC are Abby Richter and Rob Miller. Now, let's meet your starting 11 for AFC Ann Arbor. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing your Mighty 11. Number 3, Emily Eitzman. Number 5, Sandra Peterson. Number 6, Kiara Promoli. Number 8, Amy Kumori. Number 10, Natalie Sova. Number 13, Allie Molina. Number 14, Claire Cahalan. Number 15, Lena Barra. Number 19, Julia Tigazelli. Number 20, Ivy Wilhelm. In goal, number 1, Rebecca Prisbillo. Your coaches for AFC Ann Arbor are Victor Plessé and Kevin Taylor.
As that's your starting 11 for both squads, as again they both little fist bumps there for the officials. We appreciate the officials. We cannot have the games we love without the officials. So next time you think that you can do better, reach out. I know the MHSA has the official shortage. If you want to help out at the high school level, they could always use some assistance. So again, great crowd here. Everything ready to go on a Friday. Game is going to start right around 6 o'clock, just a couple minutes after, as we're getting a picture of each of the starting 11s by both squads. And again, starting an hour earlier because there are no lights here at Concordia, so have to watch the darkness because we don't have glow-in-the-dark soccer balls at this point. Plus, people would run into each other a fair amount. So, gotta have a little daylight here out here. So, Cahalan over there talking with the officials, trying to catch the other side. So I believe over there that's Maurer talking with the officials, getting ready to go. Again, in net Otts for the Cleveland Force, and Prisbillo, Eastern Michigan player for AFC Ann Arbor. AFC Ann Arbor is in their home white kits with the title sponsor Bank of Ann Arbor on the front, the light blue and dark blue stripes across the front, numbers in dark blue on the back, the light blue shorts and light blue socks. Cleveland Force is in their away dark blue jerseys with the numbers in white on the back. Their title sponsor looks to be, I believe that's, can't tell on the front, but they have blue shorts and blue socks out there. As Ott heads down to the left, we are going AFC Ann Arbor, going from right to left here in this matchup. 000 on the clock. So we're grateful for you watching wherever you're at. Thank you for supporting these teams, either which one. We appreciate you watching when you cannot make the match. Ball set in the center circle, ready to get underway. Antonio ready to pop that ball out. Wilhelm over to Antonio's right. Soba to her left, and then Berra on the near wing, joined over there by Cure. Prisbillo set up over to the right, and just waiting for the whistle by the officials. Looks like we're ready. The officials just across the way. The official to the right comes over on the sideline, and now, there we go, there's the whistle. Underway here as Cleveland controls it right around midfield. That's knocked away from Maurer. Now played back ahead, trying to get to it is Antonio. Antonio plays it back towards midfield. That's sent all the way onto the near wing. Grabbed over there by Fossil. Fossil moves it back over. Picked up by Butera. Butera moves it right back over midfield onto the Cleveland side. And fired ahead by Fossil. Fossil down the near touchline. Trying to move it over to Cure. That knocked away. Here comes Ann Arbor. Kumori trying to fire it ahead. That knocked away. Controlled by Cleveland right at midfield. Now here comes Kumori. Kumori gets it over, grabbing it as Soba. Soba trying to kick that through, knocked away by Cleveland. Up the other direction is Contini. Contini. And chipped away by Ann Arbor right on the near touchline. Berra has it. Berra with one of the two goals for the women's squad. She scored in the last game versus Kalamazoo FC. Chipped all the way ahead into the near corner. That's going to roll and out the near touchline. That will be a throw-in over there, as Fossil will have it on the far touchline, deep in her own defensive third. Fossil trying to move it down. That chipped all the way towards the middle, played down off the body, grabbing it, coming ahead with it. That moved over by Promoli. Promoli. That's set just outside the 18 Soba there, and it's going to be a whistle. That is going to be a free kick in a spot of menace for Ann Arbor. Cahalan back to take it. That's inside the attacking third over on the near wing. So Cahalan set for this kick. Puts the right foot into it, chipping it into the 18, and that's grabbed by Ott. Ott has it in the 18, rolls it over to the far side to her defense. Cleveland brings it up the far side. And they chip back over onto the near wing as Cleveland makes their way up the near touchline. Fired over to Fossil. Fossil on the near touchline. Fossil. It's a whistle, and I believe he stepped out. So that's going to be a throw by Peterson. Peterson on the near touchline. Peterson looks to her left, gets into Berra. Berra back to Peterson on the near touchline. Peterson trying to move that over. Berra gets it back. Kumori heading up the pitch. Kumori back over to Peterson. Peterson sends it just on the AFC Ann Arbor side of midfield. That all the way back. Grabbing it, coming over to the far wing is Ticazelli. Ticazelli gets it back in her own defensive third. Rolls it over on the near wing as that's sent back over by Molina over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli launches all the way down in the middle of the pitch. That knocked down over there, picked up by Jarex. Jarex launches it and rolls all the way to the 18, knocked by Prisbillo, launched all the way back deep into the attacking third for Ann Arbor. Here comes Berra. Berra trying to get into the 18 and pulled away. Good defensive play back there. That'll go out the near touchline, as that was Heath down over on the near wing, stopping some AFC Ann Arbor. Throw in by Cleveland on the near touchline, trying to move it over to Butera. Butera back onto the near wing. Berra sends that out the near touchline. Again, a throw in on the near touchline by Cleveland. Chipped there by Peterson, trying to get to it is Cahalan, pulled the other direction by Antonio. Antonio flips it over onto the far wing, over to Maurer. Maurer down on that far touchline. Cleveland trying to bring it down the far touchline. Eitzman providing some pressure over there, marking it. Ramacone coming deep as Ramacone trying to get across. That knocked away. Now Promoli back with pressure. Wilhelm trying to mark that out. That's over onto the near wing. Played up, here comes Barra. Barra coming up the near side of the pitch. Barra gets into the middle third. That play back by Soba. Soba feeds it over onto the near wing. Brought up by Peterson. Peterson arcs it all the way down. That headed up by Jarax. Jarax all the way over to Lyncha in the far corner. Lyncha gets it back to Ott in the 18. Ott all the way over onto the near wing to Heath. Heath brings it up the near side of the pitch. Heath comes over on the near touchline. Heath arcs it down the near touchline, and that will go out the near touchline. That will be a throw-in by Ann Arbor. Peterson on the near touchline, trying to move it ahead. Played down. Here comes Soba. Soba down the near touchline. Soba into the attacking third. Soba double teamed as that ball sent all the way towards midfield. Knocked down back there by Cahalan. Cahalan gets it over to Barra. Barra over to Kamori. Kamori dispossessed back there by Contini. That is going to be a whistle, Ann Arbor, with a restart, much to Contini's displeasure. Peterson has it set back. Peterson quickly moves it over to Molina. Molina over onto the far wing. That brought up by T. Cazelli. T. Cazelli over to Cahalan. Cahalan puts it into the far corner, racing back, trying to get to it. Promoli, that will go out the end line. That'll be a goal kick for Cleveland. We are in the 6th minute here at Concordia University. Your AFC Ann Arbor Mighty Oak taking on the Cleveland Force. Scoreless here at Concordia University. Ott gets it set to send it away. Ott moves it over onto the far wing. Cleveland trying to feed it up to Maurer. Maurer back to Mott in the 18. Ott gets it over onto the near wing, over to Heath. Heath. Now back to Heath. Heath trying to get it through traffic over to Butera. Butera, pressure coming by Wilhelm now, moving over Kamori. Kamori gets it into the near corner for Barra. Barra into the 18. Barra cross, and that knocked away. Good defense by Cleveland. Pulled down by Peterson. Peterson trying to get it over. Now Soba on the near touchline for Barra. Barra dribbles towards the center of the pitch. Back over to Kamori. Kamori arcs it into the 18, and that goes wide a few feet to the far side. That'll be a goal kick for Cleveland. Here in the 7th minute, scoreless so far between AFC Ann Arbor and Cleveland Force. Ott gets the ball set for the goal kick. Rolls it over onto the far wing, picked up there now, launched ahead, right into the middle third by Cleveland, fed back over by Ramacone. Now launch, trying to get it back over to Ramacone. That's sent back over to the defensive pairing. Stolen away. Here comes Ann Arbor. Promoli sends it into the edge of the 18, and Ott dives to get it before Soba could get to it. Soba bearing down on it. Ott with a good job. Rolls it over to Heath. Heath brings it out of the 18, up the near wing. Heath looks over to her left. Heath now comes down onto the near touchline. Heath rainbows it forward. That down on the near touchline, headed up and out by Molina. That'll be a throw-in by Cleveland. Fossil with the throw-in on the near touchline. Fossil throws it in towards the center of the pitch, trying to get ahead with it. Back over there, Cure had it, as well as Maurer. That's going to be pulled back over. Now moved. Here comes Peterson. Peterson up the near touchline. Peterson gets it over to Barra. Barra racing ahead with it. Barra trying to get across. Barra stops with it. Barra into the far corner looking for a cross. That knocked away back over there by Fossil. Out the near touchline. That is going to be a corner as it went out the end line. So Barra with the corner. She sends it high, comes over to the far wing. Promoli with it there. Promoli Gets it back over, arced in. Soba trying to head it over onto the near wing. Berra challenging, but that grabbed and fired by Heath all the way back. Headed up by Cahalan. Played down. Here comes Cleveland as Kumori trying to challenge. Brought back towards midfield. Now coming ahead with it, Antonio. Antonio pulled away by Kumori. Kumori gets the ball set. Cahalan comes up on her own on the Cleveland side of midfield. Over onto the far wing to Promoli. Promoli trying to get to it. Knocked off of there as Ramacone gets the challenge. Pulls it away. Ramacone trying to fire it back. All the way back on the defensive side. Plucked up back there by Molina. Molina gets it into the 18 for Prisbillo. Prisbillo launches it down onto the far wing. Trying to get it over to Promoli. That played down. Racing ahead with it. Cleveland launches, and that a good shot, but goes over the crossbar. That is going to be a goal kick. Prisbillo gets it set at the edge of the 6. We are in the 10th minute here, still scoreless between Ann Arbor and the Cleveland Force. Prisbillo sends it down the pitch, bounces. Back over on that far wing, played down, trying to get to it. Soba, now Promoli knocks it up. That headed back over, played down by Wilhelm on the far touchline. Wilhelm gets it over to Cahalan. Cahalan towards the center of the pitch. Cahalan now moves it back on the far touchline. That grab by Eitzman, back over to Cahalan. Cahalan trying to dribble around. Challenge coming from Contini. Contini knocks that away. Eitzman battling on the far touchline, trying to get it away from Ramacone. Ramacone over there now. Eitzman does good hard work to get it back. And fired over there by Ticazelli. Ticazelli, that goes out the far touchline. That'll be a throw in by Eitzman. Eitzman has worked with the Mighty Oak Foundation, written one children's book, looking to write another one. She was honored before the first home match with a pair of other wonderful folks, influential women in the Ann Arbor area. That goes out the far touchline. We're in the 12th minute here at Concordia. Quick throw in. Is trying to play it down. Now that launched over to Berra. Berra, center of the pitch, pulled back away by Contini. Contini controls for Cleveland. Contini up the far wing. Contini launches it all the way back. Molina lets it roll over to Prisbillo. Prisbillo back into the 18, grabs it. Prisbillo lets it slowly roll back. Now moves it over onto the far wing. Racing ahead with it, Molina. Molina arcs it down the pitch, trying to get it over to Soba. Soba on the far touchline. Soba working her way into the far corner. Soba looking for a cross. Pressure back there by Jarczyk. As that goes out. That's Jarax, excuse me. That is going to be a corner, as Berra will have it in the far corner. So another set piece here for Ann Arbor. Scoreless so far. Ann Arbor trying to get the first score of this game. Berra lifts it into the 18, headed. That comes on to the near wing, and that will roll out the near touchline. Ott is going to pick it up over on the near touchline, and looks like that's going to end up being a goal kick over there. So Ott will take it, get it at the 6, as we're in the 13th minute here, scoreless from Concordia University. Ball rolled over onto the far wing. Here comes Cleveland ahead over to Butera. Butera down onto the near wing, gets it over to Fossil. Fossil trying to come up the near touchline. Fossil back over as Heath has it. Heath trying to get it through traffic. Back over to Fossil on the near touchline. Berra challenging there. Back over to Heath. Heath arcs it down towards the center of the pitch. Headed over by Peterson. Now Cahalan. Back grab. Coming ahead with it is Ticazelli. Ticazelli trying to dribble through traffic. Ticazelli trying to move it ahead. That move by Soba over to Kamori. Kamori trying to get a shot away. That into the 18, but plucked up by Ott. Ott comes out to the edge of the 18. Ott. Now drop kick as that goes towards midfield. That hit, good job to knock it over by Cahalan, down, trying to get it over Kumori, over to Berra. Berra rolls it over to Peterson. Peterson back to Berra. Berra back to Peterson, coming down the near touchline. Peterson looking for a cross, makes a good move back to Berra. Berra puts her left foot into it, that all the way over. Wilhelm trying to get it before it goes out the far touchline. Wilhelm holding it in on the far touchline. Wilhelm trying to move it back over as Promoli lets it go. Wilhelm arcs it, and that goes just wide to the near side. Just missed the near post of the woodwork. As Nutmeg in the stands, having some fun, talking with all the wonderful kids here at the match. Appreciate that. Not easy to be a squirrel with that much fur here on an 81-degree day, but Nutmeg is out here. Nutmeg a gamer. So that moved over by Fossil. Fossil trying to get it up, picked away. Buteri had it. Here it comes Kumori. Kumori trying to get it over to Soba. Soba racing, and that just goes out the end line before Soba can get to it. That's a goal kick for Cleveland. We are in the 15th minute here at Concordia. 0-0. 0-0 is our score. Still scoreless. Ott has it. Gets it set at the edge of the 6. Just a little gust of wind here, otherwise not much. Up the far wing. Brought ahead, controlled. Cleveland moves it over to Heath. Heath trying to keep it in the near touchline. That goes out. Barra with the throw in. Deep in the attacking third for Ann Arbor. Over to Kamori. That knocked right out the near touchline by Butera. That is going to be a throw by Peterson on the near touchline. Peterson. Waiting for everyone to get set. Gets it over to Kamori. Kamori back over to Berra. Berra back to Peterson on the near touchline. Peterson looking for a cross. Getting it over to Berra. Berra trying to dribble through traffic. Berra coming ahead. Berra over to Kamori. Kamori launches it. Kamori out just a little high as it hits the crossbar on the field goal post. But a good opportunity by Kumori and just a touch high. 16 minute. We're in the 16th minute here, 0-0. Scoreless game so far. Cleveland has in their own defensive third, bringing it ahead. Trying to get into the middle third is Antonio. Flips it over. That pulled ahead by Eitzman. Eitzman over onto the far wing as that's launched. Getting it. Kumori now stolen away by Cleveland. Berra trying to get to it, but that pulled ahead by Fossil. Fossil up the near touchline. Back, holding it in, trying to come ahead with it is Cure. Cure moves it back on her own side of midfield over to Butera. Butera all the way over onto the far side of the pitch, controlled by Cleveland there. Racing ahead with it is Lyncha. Lyncha rolled on back. Just on the edge of the defensive third, now trying to move it ahead to Butera. Butera trying to get over midfield. Racing down on the far touchline. Cleveland back there. Challenge back there by Soba. Rolled over to Heath. Heath deep in their own side of the middle third. That sent down the near touchline, controlled there. Trying to move it over is Fossil. Fossil trying a give and go. Tipped over, now trying to turn on it is Cure. Cure heading towards the middle of the pitch. Cure trying to sneak it over. So that's popped up high. Good defense by Ticazelli. Ticazelli gets it towards midfield. Played back. Launched by Cahalan all the way back deep. Heath coming over onto the near wing, racing over. Wilhelm trying to provide pressure. That goes out the near touchline. Berra with it. Berra will leave it for Peterson. Peterson with the throw-in. As Peterson just on the edge of the attacking third for Ann Arbor. Still scoreless. Moved back over to Peterson. Peterson trying to get it as that will go out the end line. That'll be a goal kick. Ott will get that ball set, and Cleveland will send it away. Cleveland brings it up the far side of their defensive third. Moved back over, control back over there by Jarax. Jarax moves it right over midfield. Antonio trying to move it back. Chipped by Ann Arbor. Berra moving it over to Kamori. Kamori over, trying to get it to Soba. That knocked all the way out. Now go out the far touchline. Throw in by Ann Arbor. Eitzman has it just on the edge of the middle third on that far touchline. Eitzman arcs it deep into the attacking third. Soba looking to get the cross. Soba back there battling with Maurer. That goes out. That will be a throw-in. Deep in the attacking third for Ann Arbor here in the 19th minute. It's Wilhelm with the throw-in on the far touchline. Wilhelm trying to arc it over to Promoli. Promoli heads it into the 18. Barra with it. Barra looking for a cross, but that's sent all the way down for Antonio. Cleveland trying to come ahead with it over midfield. Antonio moves it back on the far touchline. Now Maurer trying to get to it. That's stolen away by Soba. And offside the call. That will be Cleveland's ball. 0-0 is the score here in the 20th minute at Concordia University. Moved over on the far touchline. Trying to bring it ahead. Promoli steals it. Promoli trying to get around Maurer. Promoli moves it back. Eitzman over onto the near wing. Brought ahead by Peterson. Peterson gets it over to Cahalan. Cahalan trying to get it to Kamori. That's stolen away. Coming the other direction is Contini. Contini dribbles it over to Maurer. Maurer over onto the near wing as that's fed over by Cure. Now racing down onto the near side into the near corner is Contini. Contini looking for a cross. Knocked down out there by Cure. Cure trying to get the shot across. That tipped back. Now still in the 18, picked up. Coming down, Kumori feeds it for Ann Arbor. Picked up by Soba. Soba tips it right back. Controlled by Molina. Molina over to Cahalan. Cahalan over to Soba up the near wing. Soba racing through the middle third. Soba into the attacking third over to Barra. Barra coming on the edge of the 18. Barra trying to get across. That knocked away. Good defense back there by Butera. Butera feeds it down the far wing. Here comes Cleveland. Fired all the way down. Played over there by Ramacone. Ramacone moves it back towards midfield. Over to Butera. Butera launches it onto the near side of the pitch. That will go out the near touchline. Ann Arbor ball here. Peterson with the throw in here in the 22nd minute. Still scoreless so far. Peterson over to Molina. Molina now rolls it all the way over to Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli up the middle of the pitch. Ticazzelli now feeds it over to Eitzman onto the far wing. Back over to Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli back to Eitzman on the far touchline. Eitzman ahead. Grab by Soba. Now back to Soba. Soba trying to move it over to Promoli. Promoli over to Wilhelm. Wilhelm into the attacking third. Wilhelm launches it into the near corner. Grabbed by Peterson. Peterson trying to get around traffic. Peterson with a shot. Oh, that just goes a little high and wide to the near side. Good opportunity and a good job to work her way through a challenging contact, but that ball sailed just a touch. Ott sets it on the 6. Also gets her boots laced up there with a little help. Jarax helping out her keeper. You don't want to lose a boot if you're a keeper. That would be bad. You don't want anyone losing a boot, but especially not your keeper. Jarax dribbles it up the center of the pitch. Jarax moves it over to Heath. Heath up the near wing. Heath coming towards the middle third. Now Heath gets it back into the middle third down the near touchline. Heath arcs it over to Antonio. Antonio plays it down over onto the near wing, over to Contini. Contini brings it ahead. Couple really good opportunities for Cleveland. Antonio with it there. Good challenge by Kamori. That launched over. Eitzman trying to get to it. Played down now into the 18. That launched and way to get in front of it by Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli making sure that it's not going to be quite as easy an opportunity. Over in the near corner is going to be Ramacone to take the corner for Cleveland. Again, we're here in the 24th minute, still scoreless at Concordia. Ramacone ready for this set piece. Ramacone raises both of her hands. As that is arced over towards the far side. Antonio trying to send it in. Good job to knock it away. I believe that was Ticazzelli again with a good job. And that right to Brisbillo. Brisbillo grabs it up, sends everyone down the pitch as she dribbles it a few times in the 18 now. Moves it quickly. Bounces on the middle third, trying to get to it. That headed away. Good job back there by Fossil to take an opportunity away from AFC and Arbor. Antonio plays it down. That moved over by Contini. Contini feeds it all the way down onto the far side of the pitch. Over to Ramacone. Ramacone being marked by Eitzman. Ramacone on the edge of the 18. Ramacone on that far wing looking for a cross. Sends it back towards midfield. Controlled there by Cleveland. Trying to get across. That knocked away. Coming ahead with it is here comes Wilhelm. Wilhelm goes over to Soba. Soba racing, and that's going to be offside. Oh, Soba thought she timed it perfectly, but just offside. And it's going to be Cleveland's ball here. As Jarax gets it over. Fossil with it. Fossil rolls it towards the middle of the pitch. Now Butera all the way over onto the far wing. Brought ahead with it. Now coming Lincha. Lincha gets it over into the far corner. Trying to send it across is Ramacone. Ramacone into the 18. That popped up high by Ticazzelli. That will go out the far touchline. Throw in by Cleveland here in the 26th minute. Scoreless so far at Concordia University. USLW matchup. Played down over to Ramacone. Ramacone looking for a cross. Both Eitzman and Wilhelm trying to dispossess her. That goes out the far touchline. That will be a throw in again for Cleveland. They have it deep in the attacking third as they launch it back, looking to get to it. Butera trying to get away as Kumori, good defense. Eitzman takes that off as Eitzman blocks the shot, but that's going to be a corner. As Antonio over to take the corner for this next set piece for Cleveland.
We'd like to thank Whitfield Properties.
Antonio set. Raises the right hand. Antonio sends it across. Low kick that goes out the end line. That will be a goal kick. Nope, that's going to be another corner. Excuse me. It's going to be another corner kick for Cleveland. Is what I saw as the AFC and Arbor players trying to lobby that it went off of a Cleveland player. Antonio again, ready for this next set piece. Antonio arcs it up a little higher this time, headed up into the 18, down onto the near wing, trying to turn on it. That over to Maurer. Maurer coming down the edge of the 18, knocked away. Good job back there by Soba to try and knock it away. Soba battling now Promoli. Soba arcs it down the near touchline. That will go out. That will be a throw in by Cleveland. Cleveland keeping some pressure on Ann Arbor. As Fossil has it on the near touchline. Fossil. That moved over, racing down. Cure. That knocked out the near touchline again. It's going to be a throw in by Fossil. We're in the 28th minute. Fossil launches it. Antonio heads it back. Grabbed down there. Moved over by Ticazzelli. Ticazzelli moved ahead. Now grabbed by Soba. Soba back over to Kamori. Kamori launching it, trying to bring it ahead as that's sent by Promoli. Battled as Wilhelm goes down to the pitch, trying to pop that away. Wilhelm controls. Now over to Kamori. Kamori. As that is going to be a free kick for Ann Arbor. Just on the edge of the defensive, or on the middle third. Cahalan. He plays for University of Toledo during the season. Puts it, headed down in the 18. Pulled back over onto the near wing. Coming ahead with it is Cure. And sent out the near touchline by Peterson. That'll be a throw-in. As Fossil with the throw-in on the near touchline. Fossil Gets it back on the near touchline. Berra knocking it away. Now Soba trying to get it. Soba coming towards the center of the pitch. Soba with the cross. That knocked down by Butera. Butera all the way over onto the far wing ahead to Contini. Contini rolls it over onto the far wing over to Lincha. Lincha sends it back over into the far corner for Jarax. Jarax rolls it all the way onto the near wing to Heath. Heath coming up the near side of the pitch. Heath gets it into the middle third. Heath now stops. Heath rolls it back over to Jarax. Played down back over to Heath on the near touchline. Berra coming over to challenge. That ball sent over to Fossil. Fossil up the near touchline. Fossil arcs it as that comes down, headed into the 18, played down by Antonio. Knocked away. Good job by Molina as that comes all the way back onto the far wing. Grabbed there by Contini. Played down on the far side of the pitch. Moved back over by Lincha. And out the far touchline. Lincha with the throw-in here in the 30th minute. Scoreless so far. Lincha gets it over to Buttiera. Buttiera back just in the middle third, trying to move it over to Fossil. Fossil tips it back to Heath. Heath on her own side of midfield sends it down the near touchline and out. That'll be a throw-in for Ann Arbor as Peterson has it on the near touchline. Peterson looks to her left. Peterson arcs it down. That headed up by Fossil right out the near touchline. Peterson throw it in again. We're in the 31st minute here at Concordia University. Scoreless. Soba trying to get to it. Played down. Fossil moves it over to Heath. Heath arcs it ahead. That played over by Peterson. Over to Kamori. Kamori down. Trying to bring it ahead is Promoli. Promoli trying to get it to Soba. That knocked away. Good job by Heath. Stolen away by Berra. Now deflected back. Peterson trying to get to it. Fed ahead to Antonio. As racing ahead with it. Antonio all the way over onto the middle of the pitch, over to Maurer. Maurer trying to move it ahead, played down, battling, trying to work her way through traffic is Ramacone. Ramacone over onto the near wing. That fired and will go wide as Cure trying to get a good shot and just kind of came off the side of the foot. That's going to be a goal kick as we approach the 32nd minute here at Concordia University. No goal by either team as of yet. Prisbillo looking to move it deep down the pitch. Arced down towards midfield. Played down by Berra. Berra gets it over now over to Kamori. Kamori comes towards the center of the pitch. Kamori launching it. Soba trying to get to it. Soba racing, getting back into the near corner. Soba stopping it there. Soba trying to head up the pitch, trying to get through traffic of Heath. Soba into the 18 as she goes down, and that's a penalty kick. As Soba gets, Heath's feet get tangled up with Soba, and it's a shot from the spot. It's a penalty kick for Ann Arbor. Good opportunity for Ann Arbor now here as we're coming towards the 33rd minute. Promoli to get this set at the spot. Only Ott in front of her. The official talks to Ott, make sure she's good. Promoli, it's a few yards back. Big opportunity here. Here's the whistle. Promoli puts her right foot into it, and it's a goal! AFC Ann Arbor goal by Promoli. 3 more trees donated to the Ann Arbor Parks, and AFC Ann Arbor takes the lead 1-0 here in the 33rd minute as Promoli from the penalty spot.
AFC Ann Arbor goal scored by number 6, Kiara Promoli. And with that,
so excellent job by Promoli to send it towards the near side and fire it in, and Ann Arbor takes the 1-0 lead and plus gives 3 more trees for the bicentennial to the Ann Arbor Parks. Antonio set at the center circle. That fired the crowd up a little bit. Bringing it ahead, that fed all the way down onto the far wing by Maurer. Played back over by Ramacone. Ramacone trying to move it over to Butera. Butera launches it all the way over to Fossil, but that just a little back behind her. That'll be a throw-in on the near touchline by Berra. Berra over to Kamori. Kamori trying to get past Heath. Kamori launches it ahead. That grab now. Promoli over to Soba. Soba in the 18. Soba trying to get through traffic. That pulled away by Butera. Down and out the near touchline. And that deflected out the end line. That will be a goal kick. We're in the 35th minute here, 1-0. Ann Arbor with the lead. Ott to kick it away. Moves it over on the far side. That brought up by Jarax. Jarax over onto the far touchline. Racing ahead. Wilhelm trying to provide pressure. That rolled back over by Lyncha. Back over to Jarax. Jarax trying to move it towards the center of the pitch, racing in, grabbing it. Here comes Cahalan. Cahalan over to Berra. Berra just outside the 18. That poked away from behind. Good defense back there by Cleveland. Berra trying to get to it. Berra battling on the near touchline with Butera. Well, that moved over to Fossil on the near touchline. Here comes Cleveland. Fossil arcs it ahead, trying to get to Antonio. That knocked away by Molina. Back over to Fossil. Fossil trying to move it towards the center of the pitch over to Maurer. Pressure. Promoli trying to provide it back there. Now Soba back deep. That launched all the way back on the far wing by Jarax. Trying to get it over to Ramacone. Pulled away by Eitzman. Eitzman battling with a pair of players back over. As now Wilhelm over to Cahalan. Cahalan moves it back, controlled by Ticazelli. Ticazelli over to Molina. Molina back over. Now Cahalan lifts it ahead. Cahalan trying to get it. Oh, that headed back over there by Jarax. Taking an opportunity away. Cahalan trying to move it ahead. Played down by Wilhelm. Over to Kamori. Back to Wilhelm. Trying to move it back to Kamori. Excuse me, that was Promoli. Now up the near side of the pitch, racing ahead with it is Kira. Kira trying to get back. Good challenge back there as Antonio trying to get to it. That pulled away back there by Molina. Molina trying to move it ahead. Cleveland has it. Good challenge by Promoli, but that right back over to Butera. Butera over to Fossil on her own side of midfield. Fossil trying to move it over. That sent right back out the near touchline by Cahalan. We are in the 37th minute here at Concordia. Fossil with the throw-in. Over to Antonio. Antonio towards the center of the pitch, but that's stolen away. And moved down by Wilhelm. Wilhelm gets it over to Berra. Berra over to Kamori. Kamori trying to get it back to Wilhelm. Now that moved over to Promoli. Promoli right in the middle third. Gets it back over to Cahalan. Cahalan gets it down on the far touchline. Eitzman with it there. Eitzman trying to move it forward over to Wilhelm. Wilhelm in the attacking third. Wilhelm looking for a cross. Trying to get around Maurer. Wilhelm works through traffic. Wilhelm coming into the 18. Wilhelm trying to get past. Wilhelm still battling on a cross. And that fired all the way out by Jarax. And we'll go out the far touchline. Good job by Wilhelm to try and battle through a lot of defense over there. Eitzman with the throw in. And moved over, control back over to Kamori. Kamori sends it. Now Cahalan puts it down into the near corner in the 18. Berra trying to keep it in. Berra in the near corner. That will go out. That'll be a throw in off of Cleveland. So Ann Arbor with the throw in on the near touchline. We are in the 38th minute here at Concordia University, 1-0. Ann Arbor with the lead. Excuse me, that's going to be a corner. Forgive me, I thought it went out the near touchline. That's going to be a corner. Headed, good job to head that out of harm's way. Cahalan plays it down. Cahalan dribbles to the outside. Puts it over onto the far wing. That chipped over by Wilhelm, headed up by Promoli. Now arced down on the far side of the pitch. Trying to get it to Antonio. Collision by Cahalan and Antonio. Two number 14s going for the header. That is going to be a free kick for Cleveland. Here in the 39th minute. They roll it over to Butera. Butera up the center of the pitch into the middle third. Butera over to Fossil on the near wing. Fossil chips it right back to the center, trying to poke it away. Promoli moves it over to Kamori. Kamori back to Promoli. Promoli feeds it. Here comes Soba. Soba coming down with it into the 18. Soba back over to Promoli. Promoli fires it and puts it in. It's a goal. AFC and Arbor gets their second goal of the game. Promoli has a brace, and that's 6 trees donated to the Ann Arbor Parks. Go AFC Ann Arbor! Beautiful job moving over and just found Promoli there. She spun, fired it in, and caught it in the in the near corner. And that's 2 goals by Promoli. And 2-0 AFC Ann Arbor with the lead. That in the 39th minute. So Promoli has 1 on a penalty kick and 1 from a good spin move in the 18. Racing down, Cure has it. Cure coming down the near side of the pitch. Good job by Cahalan to knock it away. That's going to be a corner kick. As over to take the corner is Ramacone. My watch just told me I'm in a loud environment, which lets you know how fired up these AFC and Arbor fans are. As that arcs all the way across, headed up. That will roll all the way out the end line. That is going to be a goal kick for Ann Arbor as we are in the 40th minute here. 2-0 Ann Arbor with the lead over Cleveland. Prisbillo gets the ball set at the edge of the 6 as we enter the 41st minute. Prisbillo launches it down the pitch and played down by Kamori. Now over control by Cleveland. Clear trying to get to it. Over Promoli with it. Promoli back over to Cahalan. Cahalan dribbling ahead with it. Cahalan arcs it as that's moved over. Played down as trying to get to it. Wilhelm. Wilhelm back over to Cahalan. Cahalan gets it over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli over to Molina. Molina in her own defensive third. Molina over to Peterson on the near touchline. Gets it quick over to Kamori. Kamori over to Berra. Berra trying to turn on it. Knocked away by Fossil. Picked up there by Butera. Butera racing ahead. Maurer. Maurer trying to feed it. As good job to knock it out the far touchline by Ticazelli. Throw in by Cleveland in the attacking third. Lyncha has it. They're about halfway inside the attacking third, moving it over to Ramacone. Ramacone back to Lyncha. Lyncha moves it, is coming ahead. Cleveland trying to arc it over. Fossil trying to get to it. Kamori knocks it away. Kamori and Fossil. That comes over to Soba. Soba racing ahead with it. Soba over midfield. Soba. Now, Soba comes over to her right-hand side. Now cuts towards the center of the pitch. Soba gets it over onto the far wing. That grabbed. Back over to Promoli from Wilhelm. Back over to Wilhelm. Wilhelm on the far wing. Wilhelm gets it over to Molina. Molina over in the middle third. Antonio trying to come over to provide pressure. Grabbed. Fed over to Berra. Berra trying to get it back to Peterson, but that knocked away by Antonio. Grab Fossil. Arcs it down. Trying to get it over to Cure, but tipped over to Molina. Molina ahead. Over to Berra. Berra slips it over to Kamori. Kamori over to the center of the pitch. Over to Promoli. Back to Cahalan. Cahalan all the way on the far wing. And gathered up by Eitzman. Eitzman over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli over to Cahalan. Now all the way over onto the near wing. Over to Molina. Molina up the near side of the pitch. Molina back over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli over back to Molina. Molina back to keep Ticazelli as we're in the 43rd minute. All the way over to Eitzman on the far touchline. Eitzman coming towards the center of the pitch, trying to avoid pressure as that's arced by Ticazelli. Trying to move it over to Soba. Played down over on that far wing by Heath. Now coming ahead with it. Here comes Cleveland. They arc it all the way down. That goes into the 18 where Prisbillo will have it. Prisbillo calmly dribbles it over there. Now Antonio coming over to provide pressure as Prisbillo arcs it down the pitch. Soba looking for it as that comes all the way back deep. Trying to get it is Jarax. Jarax stops it deep in their own defensive third. Jarax launches it just over midfield. Cahalan trying to get to it. Now Antonio trying to move it over. And onto the near wing. That's going to be a free kick as Antonio going for the ball. Going for the ball. Ticazelli got Antonio's leg, so that'll be a free kick about 5 yards back in the middle third. We're in the 44th minute here. About a minute and a half until stoppage time. As the ball kicked away by Putera, headed into the 18. That goes out the end line. That'll be a goal kick for Ann Arbor as Pizbillo will get it set there. Prizbillo gets it set on the 6. One minute left before stoppage time. That ball rainbowed down the pitch as Kamori trying to move it over. Cahalan knocks it back over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli back to Cahalan. Cahalan moves it ahead. Here comes Promoli. Promoli gets it over midfield. Promoli arcs it over to Soba. Soba moves it into the far corner, racing ahead with it. Wilhelm trying to get to it before it goes out. Wilhelm has it in the far corner, but offside the call. That ball will come all the way back. About 5 yards into the defensive third, outside the middle third. As that's arced by Jarax. Down onto the far wing for Ramacone. Ramacone trying to move it back. And sent back over to Jarax. Jarax on the far side of the pitch now, trying to provide pressure with Soba. That all the way back is moving back, grabbing it. Ramacone. Ramacone fires it as that's kicked all the way back. Good job back there. Cleveland trying to get to it. That popped up high by Ticazelli as Molina had a good stop as well. Now that launched as we are in stoppage time now. Arced ahead, grabbing it, trying to move over. Good job by Cahalan. Now Wilhelm up the far wing. Wilhelm over to Soba. Soba back over to Wilhelm. Wilhelm on the far touchline. Wilhelm over to Cahalan. Cahalan on the center of the pitch. Cahalan over, now grabbing it. Kumori. Kamori over to Peterson. Peterson on the near wing. Peterson feeds it all the way down the pitch, trying to get it over. Now Soba racing down the far wing. Soba into the attacking third. Soba looking for a cross deep in the attacking third into the far corner. Soba into the 18. Soba trying to dribble past a pair of defenders. Fires, and that will go just wide to the far side. Just missed that far post. That is going to be a corner as Berra goes to take the corner. We are in stoppage time. I have not heard how much. 2-0, Ann Arbor with the lead, they'd love one more before halftime. Berra, right foot into it, across as that's popped up. Punched out by Ott, now move, trying to get to it. Kamori, launched down over on the near wing, over as Maurer brings it ahead. Maurer up the near side of the pitch. Maurer up the near touchline. Maurer trying to get it ahead, over to Antonio. Antonio all the way down as coming back, grabbing it. Ticazelli over to Peterson, stolen away by Antonio. Antonio over, centered up. Good job to knock that away by Eitzman. Here comes as that's fired by Kumori. Kumori over to Wilhelm. Wilhelm gets it to Soba. Soba pops it back over. Now Cahalan firing it ahead. That deflected. Trying to hold it in the near touchline is Soba. Soba bringing it ahead. Soba launches it. That played down over there, grabbed as Wilhelm trying to poke it over to Berra. As we are in stoppage time here. This is going to be a free kick again in a good spot of Menace. As it's inside about 7 yards, inside the attacking third. They get a three-person wall right in front. Looks like it's going to be Peterson to take it. Peterson gets back. Raises her left hand. Peterson, left foot into it, arced, and it hit off the crossbar. High up, heading it, and in, as that is a hat trick. I believe that was Promoli. Trying to make sure. I believe that was Promoli for the hat trick. As 3-0 in stoppage time. We'll verify that with our score folks across the way.
AFC Ann Arbor goal scored by number 6, Kiara Promoli.
So
her third.
Promoli gets the hat trick in the first half, and we go to halftime. 3-0 AFC Ann Arbor with the lead. As let's do a little bit of a scoreboard report here. As the scoreboard still says 2-0, but I think it should say 3-0, right? So that is going to be AFC Ann Arbor with the 3-0 lead going into halftime. As let's talk a little bit about our schedule here. Reset it. All right, so scoreboard report here. Coming up back on the 21st, it was Asheville City SC shutting out Southern Soccer Academy. It was Swan City SC with a 5-2 win over Brookhouse FC. It was Olympic Club beating the Marion FC Sirens 3-2. Also on the 21st, it was Colorado Storm with a 1-0 win over the Flatiron FC. Also on the 21st, Eagle FC really put it on Punxsutawney football 11-0. Midwest United had a 1-0 win over Kalamazoo FC on the 22nd. Also on the 22nd was Racing Louisville with a 6-1 win over Kings Hammer FC. We played both of those teams 2 years ago. They are no longer in our division. Chicago City SC beat Rochester FC 5-1. It was South Carolina United beating Fayetteville Fury 3-0. The Lancaster Inferno FC shut out Christos FC 2-0. It was a 1-1 draw between Tampa Bay United and Miami AC. California Storm with a 5-0 win over Academia SC. It was 11-0 AHFC Royals over AC Houston Sur. Challenge SC beat San Antonio 2-1. It was NC Fusion topping the Charlotte Eagles 2-0. Carolina Ascent FC beat Wake FC 4-0. It was Birmingham Legion topping Athens United 2-1. Cedar Stars with a 3-0 shutout of AC Connecticut. It was Morris Elite SC with a 9-1 win over Paisley Athletic FC. On the 23rd, San Francisco beat Stockton Cargo SC 3-0. It was Northern Colorado beating Colorado International 8-1. Oakland Soul beat the Marion FC Sirens 3-1. It was the Indy 11 with a 10-0 win over St. Charles FC. Minnesota Aurora beating the Chicago Dutch Lions 8-0. It was Detroit City topping the Michiana Lions 5-0 that at Keyworth Stadium back on the 23rd. And see if there's anything else here as we are towards the end of the scoreboard report. Richmond IVSC blanking Charlottesville 5-0 with the clean sheet there. Long Island Rough Riders with the 11-1 win over Manhattan FC. It was a 1-1 draw between Chattanooga Red Wolves and the Southern Soccer Academy. On the 24th, it was the Virginia Marauders with the 2-0 win over North Virginia FC. That's where we're at. Here at Concordia, it is 3-0 AFC Ann Arbor with the lead over the Cleveland Force. We do want to thank all the wonderful, amazing sponsors of AFC Ann Arbor. We'll quickly mention them here, then we'll play a little music and come back to mention them. As we want to thank Diaza, the team apparel partner of AFC Ann Arbor. 3N1 Fitness, the fitness partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Bank of Ann Arbor, the title sponsor. Whitfield Properties, the housing partner of AFC Ann Arbor. The Ann Arbor District Library. Units Moving and Storage, the storage partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Destination Ann Arbor and Ann Arbor Sports Commission, the tourism partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Soccer Shots, the youth training partner of AFC Ann Arbor. And Ann Arbor with Kids. Remember, every goal by AFC Ann Arbor is 3 trees donated to Ann Arbor Parks. So 3 goals is 9 trees for Ann Arbor's bicentennial. For the goals, 4 trees. We'll play a little bit of music and come back with your second half action with about 11 minutes and 40 seconds left before that. You're watching AFC Ann Arbor as they have the 3-0 lead over Cleveland Forest SC. As we are counting down here at halftime, 3-0 AFC Ann Arbor with the lead over Cleveland Force, all three by Promoli. So Promoli with a hat trick. Let's talk about the upcoming games. So if we want to take a look at the next five upcoming games for AFC Ann Arbor, the women's squad. Perfect. Taking a look, it is coming up on May 29th on a Wednesday. They will be at Michiana over in Michigan City, Indiana. That will be a 7 p.m. game. Then they're back at the cozy confines of Hallway Field on June 2nd. That will be a Sunday versus Midwest United. That's a 3 p.m. game. Then they travel on that Thursday to Midwest United, 7 p.m. over on the west side of the state. Then they are going to be on June 8th over at Detroit City FC. That will be a 4 p.m. game that Saturday. Then on June 12th, a Wednesday, they will be back at Hallway Field versus Flint City AFC at 7 p.m. The next game coming up is going to be tomorrow. That is a USL2. The AFC Ann Arbor men's squad, as they will take on Oakland County FC again. That back at Hallway Field. The game time is 5 o'clock tomorrow. So come on out and check out that match. 3 goals by Promoli here as we're counting down, about 1 minute and 40 seconds left. Let's talk a little bit about, again, the sponsors, as we want to thank Ann Arbor with Kids, your go-to source for Ann Arbor family fun. Fun activities, events, details, deals, and more for family fun at AnnArborWithKids.com. Soccer Shots, the youth training partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Visit the kids' play area hosted by our friends from Soccer Shots. Destination Ann Arbor and Ann Arbor Sports Commission, the tourism partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Destination Ann Arbor supports our vibrant community by promoting Ann Arbor as a destination of choice for travelers. Check them out at AnnArbor.com. Units Moving and Storage, the official storage partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Call Units Moving and Storage for all your storage and storage pod needs. Visit unitstorage.com. We want to thank the Ann Arbor District Library for the incredible support of the Mighty Oak and for all they do for the Ann Arbor community. Wickfield Properties, the official housing partner of AFC Ann Arbor. We thank Wickfield Properties for 9 years of support housing the visiting players. Bank of Ann Arbor is the title sponsor of AFC Ann Arbor. I have that wonderful logo right on the kits. We thank Bank of Ann Arbor and their continued support. Bank of Ann Arbor can help. 3-in-1 Fitness, the fitness partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Check out 3-in-1 Fitness on South Industrial next to Revel and Roll. Train where the team trains. Diaza Team Apparel, partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Check out the new 2024 jerseys available at the merch booth in youth, men's, and women's sizes. Wear the jerseys the team wears. If you do buy a Kids Club membership, and AFC Ann Arbor will donate $5 to the purchase of that purchase to the PTO Council for Ann Arbor. So we are set. We're back at triple zeros now. They'll get the clock set at 45 minutes, as they just did. Now the teams will head back out onto the pitch. As here comes Cleveland out onto the pitch, as they will be going from right to left. Ann Arbor going from left to right here in this, the second half. Coach getting last-minute instructions, getting his team fired up. So they don't want to lose any of the momentum with this 3-0 lead. They don't want to give Cleveland Force any sort of momentum to try and build upon. Of course, Cleveland Force wants to get that next goal, try and start cutting in and try and start coming back. Speaking of comebacks, last Wednesday, AFC Ann Arbor men's squad was down 2-0 and came back to force a 2-2 tie versus Kalamazoo FC. So wonderful comeback there. The women's squad hopes there is no comeback in this game. They just want to keep it rolling. And Gotti now out for Ann Arbor. So substitution happened out there. Hooks also out there. Promoli stays out there, as well as Gamori and Barra over on that far side. Cahalan, I think that's still in the middle. Move back. Indeed, that is Cahalan. That brought back over. Grab. Molina gets it over on the near wing. Over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli. Back over to Molina. Molina feeds it. Trying to get it over. Kumori over on the far wing as that's launched ahead by Berra. Berra trying to bring it up the far side of the pitch. Berra trying to get past the pair of defenders. That grabbed ahead. Here comes Cleveland. Is racing. That fired all the way down onto the far side by Ramacone. Now here comes a cross that headed up by Ticazelli down onto the near wing. Fired all the way ahead. Racing, trying to get to it. Coming ahead is Angadi. Angadi, as Ott gets it in the 18, spills it over onto the far wing. That brought ahead there by Heath. Heath down the far touchline, stolen away, grabbed as Komori launches it down. That deflected as that's fired right back over by Heath. Controlled over to Maurer. Maurer up the center of the pitch as Angadi back there providing pressure. And slowed over to Jarax. Played down, grabbing it. Fed over by Antonio, all the way back, knocked away from Antonio. Down, trying to knock it away. Molina had it, that goes out. That is going to be a corner. So Angadi in for Soba and Hooks in for Wilhelm. Here comes a corner. Antonio set for the corner, raises her hand, arcs it into the 18. Grab by Prisbillo. Good job by Prisbillo to grab that now. Dribbles it, heads out to the edge of the 18 and kicks it away all the way down the pitch. That headed up back there by Jarax. Jarax over onto the far wing. Komori trying to get to it. Komori battling back over there with Fossil. That headed right back over. Good job by Cahalan. Now launched over. Coming ahead, Promoli. Promoli with all 3 goals for Ann Arbor so far. All the way down to Eitzman. Eitzman on the near touchline. Eitzman gets it ahead. Now Hooks. Back over is Ticazelli. Over to Eitzman. Eitzman trying to move it ahead to Promoli. Battle for it. Coming in. And Gotti. Back over to Eitzman. Eitzman. Dispossessed, coming the other direction. Antonio trying to get it over to Ramacone. Ramacone coming up the near side of the pitch. Ramacone spins with it. Now coming over. Hooks with a good job to dispossess her. Now Promoli heading towards the center of the pitch. Promoli over to Komori. Back to Promoli. Promoli trying to get through traffic. Now Berra as that's blasted all the way back. Jarax gets it back towards the center of the pitch. All the way over to Molina. Molina right at the center line. Gives it back over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli gets it back from Promoli. Now over to Molina. Molina feeds it up the far side, then gets it right back from Peterson. Over to Berra. Berra over to Peterson. Peterson on the far touchline, trying to arc it ahead. Angadi racing back to it. Angadi trying to get it back there away from Jarax. Jarax into the 18. Ott feeds it over onto the near side of the pitch, and that will go out the near touchline. Trying to get it over to Lyncha, but that's going to be a throw-in for Ann Arbor. We are in the 49th minute here at Concordia. 3-0 Ann Arbor with the lead. As throw-in by Eitzman that headed up on the near touchline, right back out. Eitzman will throw it in again on the near touchline. Eitzman launches it as that's played. Berra gets it. Komori launches it. That goes wide by a few feet to the far side of the far post. We are in the 50th minute here at Concordia University. AFC Ann Arbor with the 3-0 lead over Cleveland Force as Ott gets it up the near wing. As that's brought ahead, launched down on the near touchline over to Lyncha. Lyncha trying to move it back. That's stolen away by Hooks. Hooks trying to get around Heath. And back over to Promoli. Promoli over to Hooks. Hooks dribbles to her right now. Hooks trying to get across. That knocked out. And that looks like that's going to be a corner. So Berra comes over for a corner here in the 51st minute. And Arbor wanting to add to their 3-0 lead. Berra set, raises her right hand, quickly into it, fires it, played down, and launched all the way out the near touchline. Good defense back there by Cleveland. Eitzman lifts the ball in. Berra trying to get over to Promoli. Promoli over to Angadi. Angadi trying to get through traffic, and that launched all the way out. Good job by Heath to get it all the way back into the middle third. Molina trying to move it ahead. That knocked down by Patasic. Patasic up the far wing. Now trying to poke it away. That brought all the way down by Contini. Stolen away by Cahalan. Back over to Tikazelli. Cahalan back over onto the near wing. Now Eitzman launches it ahead right towards midfield. Bounces, Angadi trying to get to it, headed up by Heath. That's going to be a free kick right at midfield by Jarax. Jarax arcs it down the near side of the pitch, and that will go out the near touchline. Trying to get to Ramacone, that's just out of her reach. Eitzman with the throw-in on the near touchline. Eitzman with the throw-in. And sent towards midfield, played down by Heath. Heath right on the near touchline, gets it over to Lyncha. Lyncha trying to get it back to Heath as that rolls right over. He'll get it as Jarax sends it into the 18. Now Ott up the near wing. Ott over to Lyncha. Lyncha on the near touchline. Battle for it there with Hooks. That goes out the near touchline. Lyncha with the throw-in. We are in the 52nd minute here. Now the 53rd minute at Concordia as Antonio right at the center line trying to poke that away was Cahalan. Antonio fires it all the way over onto the far side trying to get to Patasic. That goes out the far touchline. That'll be a throw-in by Peterson for Ann Arbor. Peterson back over to Molina. Molina into the 18 over to Prisbillo. Prisbillo onto the near wing to Tikazelli. Tikazelli over to Eitzman on the near touchline. Back to Tikazelli. Tikazelli dribbling her way up, trying to get it through traffic. Over to Eitzman. Eitzman back over to Tikazelli. Tikazelli now comes ahead up the near wing. Tikazelli into the middle third. Over to Angadi. Angadi ends up down on the pitch. That is going to be a free kick for Ann Arbor. As Tikazelli set to kick it away. Tikazelli. It's about 5 yards back now. Tikazelli over to Hooks. Hooks trying to turn on it. Hooks feeding it as that's pulled away. Here comes Cleveland the other direction. Cleveland playing it down. Here comes Contini. Contini, that play back. Stolen away. Angadi with it. Angadi coming up the center of the pitch. Angadi trying to move it over. That just out of the reach of Promoli. That goes down and out the near touchline. Here in the 54th minute. As that ball should be on the near touchline. I'm not sure. As substitution coming in as Van Nieuwen. Van Nieuwen comes in for Cleveland Force. Throw in on the near touchline as that's headed up by Hooks. Now Cahalan gets it over. Racing ahead with it. Kumori over to Promoli. Promoli trying to get through traffic. Back over to Kumori. Kumori over to Promoli. Promoli all the way up to Eitzman. Eitzman right at the top of the attacking third. Eitzman back over to Promoli. Played down by Hooks. Back to Eitzman. Eitzman rolls it all the way just on the AFC and Arbor side of midfield coming up. Tikazelli over to Eitzman. Eitzman trying to dribble past traffic. Nice move to get around Ramacone. Now Eitzman back over to Tikazelli. Tikazelli dribbling ahead, trying to get it away from Antonio. Tikazelli over to Eitzman. Eitzman ends up down on the pitch. And it's going to be a free kick, getting caught up there with Ramacone. That ball set, all right, on the near touchline. Ticazelli ready to kick it away. Ticazelli launches it into the attacking third. That headed back by Cleveland right into the middle third, racing ahead with it. Picked up by Molina for Ann Arbor. Molina gets it back as Antonio providing pressure back there. Over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli back over to Molina. Molina over on to the far wing. That grab by Peterson. Peterson back over as Kumori gets it back over to Molina. Molina sends it all the way back to Prisbillo. Prisbillo over onto the near wing. Over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli calmly walks up the pitch. Now sends it back over to Prisbillo. Prisbillo hits it over onto that far wing to Molina. Molina racing Peterson with it. Peterson on the far touchline. Peterson makes a nifty move to get around Potasic. Potasic and all the way over. Here comes Berra. Berra down deep into the attacking third center, and that launched all the way out. As boy, that I thought that was going to go a little further, as it's still played down in the field of play, as that's tipped, and that will go out the far touchline. That'll be a throw in by Cleveland. As that ball popped up so high, I thought that was going to travel well out of into touch, but stayed in. Throwing on that far touchline for Cleveland. So we are in the 57th minute, 3-0. Ann Arbor with the lead. Cleveland controls on that far wing. Now coming over onto the near wing. And plucked up. Moving ahead. Cleveland down the near touchline. That moved over by Lyncha. Back over. And grabbed by Butera. All the way over onto the far wing. Bringing it up. Jarax. Jarax. Right over midfield. Jarax launches it deep into the attacking third as Prisbillo trying to knock that away. Prisbillo jumping up in a big, big collision there. As reaching back, that might be, oh my, is that a red card? That is a red card. Prisbillo can't believe it, as Ann Arbor will be playing with 10 players. Prisbillo has to leave the match as she gets a red card. That means they're going to have to bring Brown in. And they'll have to sub Brown in as the keeper for some other Ann Arbor player. So Prisbillo out the challenge. They both jumped up, and looks like Ann Arbor cannot make a substitution until after this kick. Is that what the officials are saying? Because they have Brown on the near touchline. So I think they're waiting. Okay, now they're going to do a substitution, because you really like to have a keeper in there. You don't want no keeper out on the pitch. That tends to be a tough thing. So Peterson coming over. Peterson gets a lovely round of applause. Brown heads out there. As now Ann Arbor playing with 10 players due to the red card. Cleveland with 11. Here in the 59th minute, so lots and lots of time left as a free kick in a definite spot of menace. Ann Arbor lucky, as that was about 3 yards outside of the 18, which is why Prisbillo didn't go to try and get it. She was trying to just get to the ball and kick it away outside of the 18. Maurer now goes deep. So unfortunately, Cleveland does not have numbers on this short, so it's really hard if I don't have their back to me to tell who it is. But a definite free kick in the spot of menace here for Cleveland, as right foot into it. Low line drive kick. Grabbed by Brown. Brown comes out as she'll come to the edge of the 18. Still 3-0 here in the 60th minute. Cleveland with 11 players. Ann Arbor with 10 is trying to get to it. As Hook's trying to get to it, and that's going to be a free kick, as you can tell the Mighty Oak fans don't appreciate that. All the way over onto the far wing. That headed into the 18. Played down, and that will go out. The end line is trying to keep it in was Ramacone, and she couldn't just hold it in. Valiant attempt. But that will be a goal kick for Ann Arbor as we are in the 61st minute here. Serenaded by the lovely sound of the Mighty Oak players as well as US 23. Now Brown arcs it down the pitch. That headed up over by Promoli. Played down, trying to grab it as Hooks. Hooks over to Promoli. Promoli back to Cahalan. Now that grabbed over. Linsha with it. Linsha moving into the attacking third. Linsha cuts to her left. Linsha now trying to dribble it back away. That grabbed by Butera. Butera gets it back over to Heath. Heath rolls it on to the far side of the pitch. Trying to work her way over as that was Fossil on the far touchline. That will go out. That's going to be an Ann Arbor throw-in. Barra with the throw-in on that far touchline. Barra gets it over to Kumori, headed up over to Angadi. Angadi trying to move it ahead. Kumori battling over there. Maurer knocks it down. Now grabbed. Fed ahead by Angadi. Played down. Here comes Cleveland trying to get ahead to Maurer. Now spinning with it there is Contini. Contini all the way down on the near side of the pitch, and that goes out the near touchline. That will be a throw-in for Ann Arbor. We're in the 62nd minute. 3-0, Ann Arbor with the lead. All three by Promoli. Angadi has it. That slips right out. Off of her foot out the near touchline. That'll be a throw-in. Throw-in by Linsha. Linsha trying to move it back over. Maurer with it. Maurer all the way over onto the far side of the pitch. That's brought ahead by Fossil. Fossil knocked away. Good job. Here comes Kumori. Kumori trying to launch it all the way down on the other side of midfield. That will go out the touchline. That will be a throw-in. Just in the middle third by Cleveland. Over to Maurer. Maurer trying to turn on that far touchline. Barra battling. Barra on that far touchline. That goes out. Patasic. And we'll leave that ball for a throw-in over to Fossil. Fossil gets it back. That ball moves towards center. Heath has it. Heath right at midfield. Moves it over onto the near wing. Over to Linsha. Linsha back to Heath. Heath on her own side of the middle third. Heath trying to feed it right over midfield. Racing ahead with it. Maurer. Maurer. And played over onto the far touchline. Coming ahead with it. That launch by Fossil. Fossil trying to get it down onto the near wing. That deflected and will go out, as that will be a goal kick out the end line. Brown will have it set at the 6 as we are in the 64th minute here. Brown, right foot into it, low line drive, knocked down by Cleveland. Cahalan tips it over onto the far wing, over to Barra. Barra bringing it up the far side of the pitch, launches it all the way back. That will roll into the defensive third for Cleveland. Here comes Angadi. Angadi trying to get past the defense. Angadi moving it over and knocked away. Good defensive play by Linsha to separate her from the ball over onto the far wing. Here comes Fossil. Fossil up the far wing. Fossil launches it down into the attacking third. That will roll into the, and on the edge of the 18, picked up by Brown there. Brown rolls it over onto the far wing. Molina over to Barra. Barra on that far touchline. Back to Molina. Molina trying to move it ahead. Kumori with it there. Kumori trying to get around 3 players. That goes out the far touchline. Throw it back over there by Maurer. Excuse me, Fossil. Moved back. Grabbing it is Heath. Heath right at the center of the pitch. Gets it over to Butera. Butera racing ahead. Butera trying to get into the attacking third. Gets it all the way down to Linsha. Linsha down on the near touchline. Linsha battle for it back there. Good job to provide pressure. That was Promoli. Gets that back over to Cortini. Cortini Trying to get it centered up. That launched all the way over by Cortini. Knocked down. Played over by Maurer. Maurer in top of the attacking third. Launched ahead by Cortini. Stolen away. Ann Arbor with it. Promoli trying to move it back over to Hooks. Hooks. That launch by Eitzman. And will come down on the near touchline. Held in by Cleveland. No, out the near touchline. That'll be a throw in for Ann Arbor. Eitzman will come up the near touchline to throw that in. 3-0 Ann Arbor with the lead here in the 66th minute at Concordia University. 3 goals in the first, all by Promoli is where we're at now. Red card to the Ann Arbor keeper as Ann Arbor's playing with 10 players. Cleveland with 11. That ball moved back over. Promoli trying to get to it, brought ahead. Antonio trying to feed it down onto the far wing. Molina with it there. Molina over to Cahalan, back to Molina. Molina rolls it over now, over to Ticcazelli. Ticcazelli over to Promoli. Cahalan trying to move it ahead. Is Kumori trying to dribble out of trouble. Kumori, nice job trying to get it over to Ngati, but that knocked away by Heath. Heath up the other direction. Heath puts it onto the far wing. Now back over. Good job to knock it away by Molina. Ball rolls back towards midfield. Taken there by Butera. Butera down on the near wing to Lincha. Lincha down the near touchline. Good challenge. That will go out. Throw in. Controlled by Cleveland, back to Butera. Butera rolls it back towards Heath. Heath on her own side of the center line. Played up ahead, over to Van Ewen. Van Ewen rolls it all the way down on the far touchline. Back over to Fossil. Fossil trying to get to it. Cahalan moves it ahead as Kumori trying to dribble around. 2 players on her, brought back the other direction. Van Ewen with it. Van Ewen puts it over. As that's pulled up back there by Antonio. Now rolled over onto the near side of the pitch. Grabbed there by Lincha. Lincha moving it ahead over to Butera. That's sent right towards midfield. Ngati with it there. Ngati trying to get around Heath. Ngati rolls it back over. Kumori with it there. Kumori over to Cahalan. Cahalan trying to avoid pressure by Contini. Contini. And all the way back over to Eitzman. Eitzman up the near touchline, over to Hooks. Hooks brings it ahead, feeds it over to Promoli. Promoli back to Hooks. Hooks up the near touchline. Hooks in a good battle with Ramacone. Ramacone trying to steal it away. Back over to Lincha. Lincha over to Heath. Back controlled as Van Ewen up the center of the pitch. Gets it over to Muir. Muir up to Lincha. Lincha into the attacking third. Lincha rolls it back over to Butera. Butera. And knocked away by Cahalan. Good defense there. Now Promoli steals it away. Promoli. Back over to Berra. Berra. Over. Trying to feed it down the far wing. That grab by Patasic. Now taken away by Berra. Berra brings it up the pitch. Berra launches it ahead. And Gotti trying to get to it. That poked away by Heath. Played down as here comes Cleveland here in the 69th minute. Ahead into the attacking third, trying to bring it over. Antonio popped back. Cahalan trying to get to it, knocked down back there by Contini. Berra trying to get to it on the far touchline. Berra pokes it ahead, but that goes out the far touchline. That will be a throw-in as Fossil will have it on the far touchline. Fossil over to Muir. Muir and back and out the far touchline again. Throw in by Fossil. Back over to Van Ewen. Van Ewen launches it. Ooh, that went off of Ngati out the far touchline. We're in the 70th minute. 3-0, Ann Arbor with the lead. Into the attacking third. Launch. Grabbed. It's a great job by Brown to pluck up that ball right at the goal mouth. Now Brown comes out to the edge of the 18. Brown launches that ball all the way back deep. By the way, Brown, University of Detroit Mercy player. Glad to have her coming off the bench in a tough situation. Played down, trying to bring it ahead. Lincha feeds it towards the center of the pitch. Picked up there by Muir. Muir All the way down, Berra steals it away. Berra racing down the far wing. Berra gets over midfield. Berra coming down towards the attacking third. Berra has Ngati in front of her. Berra trying to stop as that's knocked away by Fossil. Out the far touchline. And Arbor with the throw in there here in the 71st minute. You can hear the drum beating by the Main Street hooligans trying to keep everybody fired up as substitutions now. Promoli comes off with a hat trick. He gets a huge round of applause. Coming in is Palmer. Kumori comes out. Fantastic game there, as well as Berra. Coming in is Osgood, as well as Hollingsworth. As Osgood, another Detroit Mercy player, Hollingsworth, from Eastern Michigan University. Played for, I believe, the last 2 seasons with the Mighty Oak. Throwing on that far touchline by Hollingsworth, trying to get it over to Osgood. Osgood back there battling with Fossil. That goes out the end line. That will be a corner here. As Hooks over to take the corner for this set piece for Ann Arbor. Hooks. It's in the far corner, ready to kick this one away.
Number 4, Tiffany Hollingsworth, comes in for number 15, Lena Berra. Number 2,
Ball back, right foot into it, headed back up there. Cahalan plays it down. Cahalan trying to move it back over. Hollingsworth with it. Hollingsworth sends it down the far side of the pitch. That grab by Osgood. Osgood is Mueller. Has it, and Muir. Can't believe it, but it's going to be a free kick for Ann Arbor as they're inside the attacking third. Good location for Ann Arbor. Cahalan will have it put back there. We're in the 73rd minute. Ann Arbor trying to add to their 3-0 lead. Cahalan arcs it into the 18. That headed all the way back by Heath, played down by Cahalan. Cahalan trying to feed it over. Palmer with it. Palmer comes on the near side of the pitch, pokes that back over to Ticazelli. Ticazelli over to Molina, back to Ticazelli. Ticazelli. Over to Molina. Molina over to Hollingsworth on the far side of the pitch. Hollingsworth back to Molina. Molina feeds it ahead over to Osgood. Osgood. Back over to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth trying to feed it ahead to Osgood. Osgood. And poked away, trying to come the other direction. Muir feeds it ahead. Now here comes Cortini. Cortini putting it in, grabbing it. Ramagone and knocked away by Brown. Coming back, knocked again. Ramagone again, trying to get to it. Hollingsworth with a great defensive play that clears it all the way out into the middle third. And Gotti trying to get to it, but Brown, Hollingsworth, and Moore with beautiful, beautiful defense in the 18. Muir moves it over onto the far side of the pitch. That brought ahead by Fossil. Fossil arcs it into the 18, and that skies over through the American football field goal post. And that will be a goal kick for Brown. Boy, Brown has not had an easy time of it since she's come in. She's made some beautiful plays out there. Remember, if you want to train like the team, go to 3-in-1 Fitness, the fitness partner of AFC Ann Arbor. Check them out on South Industrial next to Revel and Roll. Rolling it over, grabbing it. Over onto near wing, Molina feeding it ahead. Played down by Angati. Over onto this near wing, Ma has it, Ma. Over Muir, trying to feed it ahead. Over to Cortini. Cortini up the far wing. Cortini launches it. Good job by Brown to get her hands on it and tap it over the crossbar. Here in the 75th minute, Brown coming up huge. University of Detroit Mercy player really proving herself between the pipes. Ball into the near corner as Antonio ready to send it. Antonio High over onto the far side, just over Heath. Over onto that far wing, trying to get to it is Dinwiddie. That's going to be a corner again, is Dinwiddie to take the corner, this time in the far corner, here in the 76th minute. Dinwiddie arcs it into the 18, that headed up and over. That will be a goal kick for Ann Arbor. Here in the 76th minute, Brown gets it moved on to the 6th. Brown over to Molina, over to Ticazelli. It's it over on the near touchline, over to Eitzman ahead to Hooks, up this near touchline. Hooks trying to get over midfield, that got knocked out the near touchline. Throw in by Eitzman. Arcs it down the near side of the pitch. Angotti trying to get to it. That's sent out into the stands by Heath. You always got to pay attention when you're in the stands at a soccer game. Otherwise, you might end up holding a ball. That ball headed up, played down. Eitzman has it. Eitzman trying to move it ahead. That goes out the near touchline. That will be Cleveland with the throw-in here in the 77th minute. 3-0. Ann Arbor with the lead. All three in the first half. Red card to Ann Arbor means Cleveland's playing with the extra one more player than Ann Arbor. And sent ahead. Osgood trying to get to it onto the far wing now. Racing. Here comes Cleveland down the far wing. Cleveland trying to feed it ahead. Is that moved into the far corner by Patasic? Crossover, shot, and that just goes high. As frustration there, trying to get in was Cortini. Cortini has played very well up the middle and had some good opportunities here in the second half. But the Ann Arbor defense trying to make it tough. Heath gets it back over, trying to get it over to Antonio. Antonio holding it in on the near touchline. Antonio trying to cut across into the 18. That's sent out the near touchline by Ann Arbor. That will be a throw-in by Cleveland here in the 78th minute. Ball on the near touchline. Popped up over there by Lincha. Sends it back. Muir ahead. Muir makes a good move. Muir launches it. Post off of the crossbar. Brown with a good job. Now that knocked away is Ticazelli. Again, fantastic back on that defensive side. Ticazelli has played some huge minutes, had some huge plays here as we're in the 78th, 79th minute now. Ball on the far touchline, rolled back over. Grabbed by Heath. Heath onto the near wing, over to Lincha. Lincha brings it ahead. Lincha now cutting towards the left. Lincha moves it over on the near touchline. Grabbed there by Ma. Trying to move it back over to Lincha. Lincha over, grabbing it. Contini back over to Muir. Muir onto the far wing. That knocked away. Good job by Osgood. That goes all the way back into the middle third. Heath brings it ahead. Heath over to Butera. Butera races down the near wing. Butera into the near corner. Grabbed there by Ma. Looking for a cross. That goes out the end line. That's a goal kick for Ann Arbor. That ball brought back. Just rolled over to Molina. Now we are in the 80th minute here at Concordia. Ball moved ahead, played down. Muir with it. Muir all the way over onto the far wing. Over to Patasic. Patasic launches it into the 18. That headed out. Another good play by Ticazelli. Out the far touchline. Throw in there. Patasic with the throw in on the far touchline. Patasic over to Muir. Muir launches it across, trying to move it over to Butera. Grab, kicked, and just a bit high. Perfect field goal, but doesn't count. There's a few NFL teams who should call some of these players, though. Launched ahead. Angadi trying to get to it. Popped back by Heath. Played down now. Lyncha with it up the near touchline. Back to Lyncha. Hooks trying to provide pressure. Now grab. Contini. It's the center of the pitch. Moves it over onto the far wing. Muir. Over Antonio. And that grab by Brown. Brown knocks it down. Dives on it. Brown with a highlight reel save. Is a beautiful job by Brown coming in as didn't get much time to warm up. A red card put her in action. She has had to play very well as we are in the 81st minute here. 3-0, Ann Arbor still with the lead. Out the near touchline, Ann Arbor ball. Cleveland Force has had some distinct opportunities here in this second half, but good defense and gutsy play by Ann Arbor. That headed right back down the near touchline. Trying to grab it over there, Antonio. Antonio trying to get it across, that out the near touchline. Throw-in by Ma. Played down, back, grab by Lyncha. Lyncha rolls it towards the center of the pitch. Muir all the way over onto the far wing. Hollingsworth trying to get to it. Flashed in the way. That will go out the far touchline. Patasic with it there. We're in the 82nd minute. 3-0, Ann Arbor with the lead. Cleveland, top of the attacking third. That launched, headed up by Cahalan. Played down by Butera. Butera. Pressure coming, and Gotti got in the way. Back to Muir. Muir chips it over onto the far touchline. Grab there, trying to come across. That launched in. Antonio trying to turn on it. Grab by Brown, and a good job by Palmer in there to make sure Antonio didn't get it cleanly. Brown comes to the edge of the 18. Holly Brown. She sends it down the pitch, bounces over midfield. Angadi trying to get to it. That headed back. Grabbed, fed ahead by Muir. Muir ahead, Contini with it, over, trying to feed it ahead is Antonio. Launched up high, grabbed by Brown right in the goal mouth. Here in the 83rd minute at Concordia University, 3-0, Ann Arbor with the lead. Brown arcs it high towards midfield. Angadi trying to get to it. That off of bounced, and that will be a handball. So that will go down, and Cleveland will start off as Heath will have it right at midfield, as that just took a weird bounce and hit Angadi on the hand. Now substitution, substitution. Cahalan, who played very well going off, and Era is Herrera in. So Herrera has it set. That moved over onto the near wing. Grab there by Lyncha.
Number 7, Juliana Herrera, in for.
Out the near touch line.
Number 14.
Here in the 84th minute. So Ann Arbor really making use of those substitutions, trying to keep fresh legs out there as they have one less player out there due to a red card. And ball grab is Muir trying to send it ahead, knocked away. Good defensive play out there by Herrera. Launched down over onto the far wing, over to Patasic. Patasic trying to get over. Osgood in the way, that sent right back. Played down, now launched as that's headed up and over the crossbar is Contini again. Right in the middle of the action, but that one just over the crossbar. That will be a goal kick as we are headed in towards the 85th minute here. Molina ahead, played down there by Lyncha. Lyncha trying to move it over to DeWitty. DeWitty. And all the way back, Muir trying to get to it. Angadi over there, now that plucked up. Coming ahead with it is Van Ewen. Van Ewen up the far wing. Launch, trying to get into the far corner for Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie looking for a cross, trying to get away from Hollingsworth. Played down, trying to turn on it. Good move by Palmer to try and get it out. Now Contini with the shot, and there goes the clean sheet as Contini has had some good opportunities, puts it in the 85th minute. It was a good job by the Ann Arbor defense, but it was just too much Cleveland goal. As that put in by Contini. So 3-1 here. Ann Arbor still with the 2-goal lead. They have 5 minutes before stoppage time and stoppage time to try and keep this Cleveland team from getting 2 more goals, and they now have the momentum. Eitzman gets it over. Palmer trying to turn on it. Palmer racing over, puts it into the far corner. As Molina over to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth launches it down. Play down over there. Heath with it. Heath puts it on the far sideline. Heath trying to get away from Osgood. Over to Muir. Muir battling as Herrera trying to get to it. That's sent over. Contini with a shot. That knocked away. Good job by Palmer. Played down. Hollingsworth trying to knock it away. That one went off of Molina. Now trying to feed it back. That control. Back over to Muir. Muir over and down. Muir ends up down on the pitch. Here in the 87th minute, that is going to be a free kick again in a very dangerous spot. Was that a yellow card? I think that was a yellow card. Couldn't see. She had something in her hand. Muir to take this again. She is well in the attacking third. Muir kicks it. That goes wide to the near side of the near post. That's going to be a goal kick for Ann Arbor. 3-1. Cleveland had the last goal. Ann Arbor continues to battle with 10 players versus 11 due to a red card. They are approaching the 88th minute, trying to keep this 2-goal lead intact. And headed back, now fed ahead. Angotti trying to get to it, pulled away there by Heath. Heath trying to battle. Angotti gets it over to Palmer. Palmer turns on it. Palmer back to Molina. Molina moves it over to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth ahead to Osgood. Osgood, that knocked away. Now Palmer feeds it ahead. Played down there by Van Ewen as we are in the 88th minute here. Launched all the way over onto the near wing, over to Lincha. Lincha trying to come ahead with it. Lincha rolls it back over to Butera. Butera launches it into the 18 and all the way down on the far wing. That is going to be a goal kick for Ann Arbor. We are in the 88th minute. 3-1. Ann Arbor with the lead, trying to hold on. Molina launches it down the pitch. Played down by Muir. Muir quickly back into the attacking third. Muir hits it over to Lincha. Lincha trying to turn on it. Back to Muir. Muir launches it ahead. Good job to poke it up by Ticazelli over on that bar wing. Hollingsworth trying to get to it. Hollingsworth battling back there with Patasik. We're in the 89th minute here. And ball out the far touchline. That's going to be Ann Arbor with the throw in. Hollingsworth out to get it. But Ann Arbor in no hurry as 1 minute 40 seconds left to go before stoppage time. And Gotti trying to get to it, pop back up. Osgood over on the far wing, but controlled by Cleveland as they move it over onto this near wing. Lincha brings it ahead. Lincha up the near side of the pitch. That knocked down. Good job by Eitzman to launch it all the way down the near touchline. As that'll roll back and kill a good 10 to 20 seconds. Now Heath trying to set it up again. Down onto the far wing. Van Ewen with it over midfield. Knocked away. Here come Osgood. Osgood coming down the far side of the pitch. Osgood racing ahead with it. Osgood coming down, trying to get across. Osgood into the far corner. Osgood with the cross, trying to get it to Angotti, and that plucked up by Ott. We are in the 90th minute here at Concordia. 3-1. Ann Arbor with the lead. Cantini trying to get that. That moved over and trying to move it over. Angotti rolled right back to Eitzman. Eitzman launches it ahead. And we'll roll all the way back as we are 30 seconds away from stoppage time. Played down on the near wing. Launched over by Lincha. Grabbed by Butera. Butera heads up the middle of the pitch over midfield. Butera right over the Concordia letters. Contini with it. Contini back over onto the far wing. Brought ahead by Van Ewen. Van Ewen Down the far side of the pitch, looking for a cross by Patasic. Patasic, that launch back over. Osgood now fired ahead. We are in stoppage time. 3-1, Ann Arbor with the lead. Stoppage time. Cleveland trying to get this game knotted up. Down onto the near wing as that's poked away from Ma. Centered back, now headed, grabbing it. Butera launches it. That will go wide and down. Grabbing it is Brown. Holly Brown. It looked like it was going to go out, but took a bounce towards the Cleveland player, and she dove on it, keeping the 2-goal lead. That ball lifted back deep, headed up by Heath, played down by Palmer, as that will go all the way out the far touchline. That's going to be a throw, or that's going to be a free kick for Ann Arbor. Again, we're here in stoppage time. Did not hear how much stoppage time. Tika Zelli, 3 minutes, I believe, says our director. That launched ahead, and Gotti trying to get to it. Played down, moved over by Herrera, trying to get to it. Poked over by Antonio, now down onto the near side of the pitch. Ma has it. Ma heads towards the center of the pitch. Ma launches it all the way over. Hollingsworth gets it over, trying to get it to Osgood. Played down there by Contini. Contini with the lone Cleveland goal. Contini fires it, and that will go to the near side and out the near touchline. Goal kick there. We are in stoppage time, inside of 3 minutes of stoppage time. Goal kick as Brown comes over. Brown over to Molina. Molina, that deflected back. As trying to get in front is Antonio. Antonio raced it, trying to make it difficult. Ball over onto the near wing. Thrown in by Cleveland. Played down by Butera. Onto the near wing. Butera gets it back. Over to Lincha. Lincha fires it into the 18. Headed up by Antonio. Battle for it as Palmer in. Palmer ends up in a collision with Contini, and both Contini is going to get the free kick out of it here in stoppage time. Contini trying to get the brace. Ann Arbor looking for a big stop here. Just outside of the 18, Contini rolls it and grabbed by Brown. Another amazing save by Brown. Keeps it a 2-goal game here in stoppage time. Brown sends it. Headed back by Muir. Osgood trying to get to it. Now Hollingsworth sends it ahead. And that will do it. 3-1. Ann Arbor with the lead as the women's squad stays undefeated. They have now won 2 and 2 in a row. They started off with a draw. 3 big points here against Cleveland. Final score, AFC Ann Arbor 3 and Cleveland 1. Reminder, tomorrow the men's squad will play 5 o'clock at Pioneer tomorrow versus Oakland County. We would love to see you there, so head over there tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We will be live about 15 minutes before the game if you can't make it in person. For my camera people, James Wiseman and Christina Wiseman. For our director, Mike Butler, my name is Mark Wiseman. Final score, AFC Ann Arbor 3, Cleveland Force 1. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow at Hallway Field. Have a great rest of your evening.